So this is going to be an instructional / overview video of the Autotrail Imala 625. This is on a 68 plate. This is a used vehicle. First of all, we're going to go around the external of the vehicle and then we will go into the habitation area. As you can see, this vehicle does have an awning. You'll get a separate link on the email how to set up and use an awning. First things first, I'm going to show you how to open the bonnet. And the reason for this, one, obviously so you know how to open the bonnet. But then two, I'll show you the terminal points in case you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So if you come to the passenger door, and if you open the passenger door, you'll see here at the side of the dash is the bonnet release catch. All you need to do, pull that down once and that will then release. Also, while we are in here, we have got blackout blinds on the driver and passenger door. All you need to do is pinch this tab here, slide them across, and then they meet at the end on a magnetic strip. Same on the front windscreen, on each side they will meet in the middle. Under the passenger seat we have a toolkit, so in here we'll have your towing eye, it'll have a jack, because this vehicle does have a spare wheel on, which is underneath the rear axle. So as you can see, I have now got access to the bonnet. Like I said, the reason for that is to show you where the terminal points are if you need to jump start the vehicle for any reason. So here we have your negative terminal point, just here, and then your positive is just down here. It'd be under this black cover here. So you might just need to get the vehicle blade key in this cover here, which releases the catch. So that's your positive down there, and then your negative terminal point is just here. Obviously under here as well we've got your engine oil, your screen wash fill is in front of the driver. So now we are going to carry on around the external of the vehicle. So next to the passenger door, this cover here, we have your diesel fill. You just need to use your vehicle blade key and that will give you access to that. We have an electric step which is controlled in the habitation door. We've got ventilation here, top and bottom, for your fridge freezer. So this is for when it is running on gas. Obviously there is some air circulation in there. Here, this is going to be your water fill. So you slide it up, put your hose pipe in. When the water starts to come back out, that means your fresh water tank is completely full. Obviously before filling up you do need to close the freshwater valve, which we will get to. In here we have got some storage, which is under one of the bench seats. It's got plenty of storage under here. So like I said, this vehicle does have a spare wheel which is underneath the axle there in the middle. So now we are on the driver's side of the habitation. So here we have your Truma vent. So this is the flue where the fumes exhaust from when your boiler is running on gas. You will get a cover on this. So one thing to do when you are using this, you need to take this cover off. If the cover is on and you've turned the heating / hot water on gas, you will get an error because obviously the fumes can't escape because the cover is on. So make sure when in use, take the cover off. When in transit, put the cover on, especially obviously if it's raining when you're travelling, just so no water is getting down there. Directly below the rear axle on the driver's side, you can see there the blue valve, which is your freshwater drain valve. So all you need to do is a 180 turn valve. You're better off trying to use two hands on this so it doesn't twist, but you turn the lever, it'll open, Obviously all the water will drain out your freshwater tank. Leave that open in winter when you're not using it, just so all the water is out. Obviously you need to close this before you fill up the freshwater tank. Directly above that we've got again some more storage, but in here we've got your leisure battery just here, and then here is where your boiler is. The only reason you need to come here is this little yellow valve here. This is actually to isolate the boiler, so you can fill the boiler up with water or drain the boiler when not in use or for winter. So the position you see it in right now, vertical, that means the valve is open, so all the water will drain directly out of the boiler. To close this, all you need to do is knock that down like so, and then obviously you can fill up the boiler with water, and then obviously boil the water for when you are needing it. To drain, lift it up, that is just going to empty all the water out of the boiler. You do need to shut this if you are using the system once you've filled up with water. Otherwise, when you are running the tap, the water will just drain straight out because it will bypass the boiler. As you can see, we are connected to mains hookup, so that's when you're connected at campsite. There's a little blue tab here, you just need to push down to lift up the cover when pulling out. Here we have your LPG storage, so you can fit 2 tanks in here, and then we have got your gas regulator at the top there. So all you need to do is connect on to that gas regulator at 1/2 inch thread, and then connect onto one of the tanks. Like I say, you can fit 2 tanks in here, so you might want to just put 1 tank in and have some storage as well. Here we have your toilet cassette. So if we want to take out the toilet cassette to empty/clean, what we need to do is this orange tab here is lifted up, pull the cassette towards you. That is then releasing the toilet cassette. If we want to empty the cassette, what we need to do is this orange nozzle on the left, twist it out to the left, take this grey cap off, and then when we tilt up the cassette to empty, if you put your thumb on this button at the top, that lets air into the top of the cassette, so all the fluids flow out a lot faster and easier. Once you've emptied it, if you want to clean internally, you can open this blade here, slide the blade across and twist this orange tab here. That will open so you can clean inside with a hose pipe if needed. Once you have done that, all you need to do is align your cassette back up, push it into place, and then the main thing here, as you can see, this orange tab needs to be down secure, so then obviously your cassette is just not going to slide in and out while in transit. And then directly below that, here, the last drain valve is going to be your grey waste. Again, on the side you've got a 1/4 turn tap. You open it, it will drain all the way out, and obviously if you close it, it will fill up when you are using water in your motorhome in the sink and the shower. Again, with it coming to winter, you just need to make sure, if you're not using the motorhome, is just drain everything in the motorhome, make sure all the water is out, just to save anything freezing. So that is everything external. Now we are going to go into the habitation area. So here we have the button for your electric step. When you're using this, all you need to do is press and hold it to make sure it comes all the way out or all the way in. Directly above the habitation door, we have your master control panel. So the top left, we have your master power on and off for the 12 volt system. In the middle, what says it's a battery symbol, but it says L on it. The L is for your leisure battery. So currently we've got blue light, that means we're running the system off leisure battery. I can select vehicle battery, so I can actually run the habitation off the vehicle battery. If you do change it to the vehicle battery, just make sure that you don't drain your vehicle battery, otherwise you won't be able to start it. But it is a good little option you've got if you need to use some power for a few minutes or so for running the pump for the water. You can, and you've no battery in your leisure, you can obviously put it onto vehicle. I'd always leave it on leisure, just so you, like I say, never get caught out short and drain your vehicle battery down. Bottom left, we've got your water pump. So you only want to turn this pump on when you've got water in the system. So as long as you've got water in the freshwater tank, as soon as you turn that pump on and open the tap, it will start priming the water through the system. You don't want to turn this pump on with no water in the tank, because you could potentially burn out the motor. And then here is just, you press it, it's giving a flashing light here. This is an indication of your fresh water level. So we are empty at the moment, which is correct. So, but if you do press it and you've got full tank, that will light up here. Got some light switches here, and that's it above the habitation door. Here we've got obviously your dining table, which fits just there. Got lots of storage up here above the cab area. Behind the driver's seat, there's a couple of 12-volt fuses. So if one of the fuses does pop, just check around here as well. But all your habitation fuses are under one of the bench seats at the rear, which we will get to. So now we'll go over the kitchen area. So as you can see, we have got a fridge freezer on this vehicle. So you open it on this side, and this one is called a three-way fridge. And what that means, here we've got what looks like a plug socket. So that's when we're connected to mains hookup. So that's what you'll put it on like now, because I'm connected to campsite to shore. If we're off grid, you put it on gas, and then you've got a battery symbol, which will you put it onto the battery symbol when you are in transit. So when the engine is running, the engine is charging the vehicle battery and then trickling through to the leisure battery and giving you 12-volt power to the fridge. So you can run this fridge on campsite on mains hookup, off grid on gas, when travelling be on your battery. To turn this on, just press and hold, and it will light up like so. It's gone to gas, but I want to change it to the plug socket. All I need to do is press it, and now I am running the fridge off the plug socket, which is mains hookup. If I'm travelling, you have to do this all manually. If I'm going to set off on the road, press the battery one. It's beeping because the engine's not on yet. But if you don't turn the engine on, just make sure you put it back onto another source, because it will keep beeping with a fault. Here we have your temperature. It's quite straightforward, and that's that. To turn it off, just press and hold, and it will shut down. Here we have your kitchen sink. So now what we're going to do is prime our motorhome with water. So the first thing we're going to do is shut all the valves in the motorhome. So we need to shut the grey waste, we need to shut fresh water tank, and then we need to shut the yellow valve on the boiler. So that is 3 valves we need to shut before we start filling up the motorhome with water. So once we've filled our fresh water tank up, what we're going to do is twist the tap to the cold side, open the tap up, and turn on the pump on the control panel. Once the pump is turned on, it will take water from the fresh water tank and then pump it through the system, and then when you get a steady flow of cold water, that means the cold side is primed. Now what we're going to do is twist it to the hot side because we want to fill our boiler up with water. Open it on the hot side, and what that will do is take water from the fresh water tank. It will then go into your boiler. Your boiler holds around 10 litres of your fresh water, and then from your boiler will come through the tap and you'll get a steady flow. Once you've got a steady flow on hot and cold, shut the tap. That means your pipe work, your boiler is all primed, ready to use. The only thing you will need to do is turn on your boiler to heat up the hot water, because the water is not instant hot water. You have to boil it, which we will get to in a moment. Here we've got some plug sockets. These, the 240 volt 3-pin, only work when you are connected to mains hookup, just because obviously they do not run off your ledger battery. Here we've got a 4-ring burner, so we've got a 3-ring gas burner and then 1 electric. The electric one works when we are plugged into mains hookup. So if you're off grid, you'll be on gas. If you're on campsite, you can be obviously on gas and mains hookup for the electric ring. And then directly above that, we have a microwave. Again, this only works on mains hookup because it's on the 240 volt system. Safety advice we do recommend is this glass cover. Just keep the glass cover up after using the stove, just because obviously the temperature difference, you could potentially shatter it. And then obviously we've got your knobs here for the gas and electric, and you'll have an igniter here as well. Here we have got your heating. So there's a couple of controls on this. On this side we have got your vent control. So basically this is turning on the fan. So as you can see, I've got it on fan at the moment. I could turn it on to manual so it continuously runs. I could turn it on to 0, which is off. And then if I select it on auto, that is then controlled by thermostat. So obviously it will change the fan speed itself. I'm going to leave it on fan at the moment because I've currently got the heating on. So as you can see, if I want to change the fan speed manually, I twist the knob on top. And when I turn the fan speed down, eventually what will happen, like so. So on manual, sorry, I can manually select the fan speed. So on 1's very low and 5 is high, which you might be able to hear there. So that is your heating. So that on that side, that is just your vent slash fan. So obviously the fan's basically circulating the ambient air through the tubing down below and then out of this grill here. On the right hand side, if we want to run the heating off gas, all we need to do is switch the gas on at the gas canisters and then twist this on and the auto will ignite. I'm not going to leave this on because it might give me an error. So like I said, the first thing to do, turn your gas canister on, turn this dial up, and that will basically run the heating off gas. So that's on the... Up here we've got your controls for the heating on electric. So like I say, there is a few controls here. Left hand side is controlling the fan blowing around the motorhome. Right hand side knob is the source for the gas. So obviously running the heating off gas is off that knob there. And then this control up here is running the heating source on electric. So as you can see, there's a little tab here. I'm currently running the electric heating on 2 kilowatts on electric. I can then switch it off, but the fan is staying on because the fan down there is just circulating any ambient air. So you could leave that on through the summer and just have the fan blowing air around the motorhome internally without the heating on. So as you can see, I've got it off. If I want to do 500 watts or I can do 1000. So the different wattage is because some campsites, if you put it on 2 kilowatts, sometimes it may trip the campsite because they do reduce the power they give you. So you can just put it on 0.5 kilowatt or 1 kilowatt and build it up. In the middle there's another knob as well, and as you can see there's a green light. So this is your thermostat in effect, so you can select 1 up to 6 for your heating, so how powerful you want it on demand. So that is your heating control on electric. To control your hot water, it's just down here. So if we want hot water in the motorhome, on the left hand side we've got boiler EL, which is electric, and then on the right hand side we've got boiler, which is running off gas. So if we're on campsite, we can heat up the hot water in the boiler after we've primed our system. On low, which is on the push this rocker switch to the top, that is the low setting. You've got middle, which is off, and then bottom, which is high. On the low setting, it will probably take about 5 hours to heat up on electric on its own. On the high, it may take about an hour. On the right hand side is gas. So turn your gas on again at the gas canister. You've got 50 degrees off and 70 degrees. So 70 degrees on gas will probably heat up your hot water in about 10 to 20 minutes. You can put this on gas and electric, so you can do mixed. So like I say, gas on the right hand side, electric on campsite on the left hand side. If you're off grid, obviously you're going to be on gas. If you're on campsite, you will use their electricity. In this cupboard here, obviously your habitation carpets are there, but directly up there we have got a max view aerial. So as you can see, there's a blue light on, that means it's switched on, and then basically you don't need to do anything. You've got a dial on the right hand side. You can leave that at max and it will give you the best signal, as long as obviously you are in range for signal for the TV. So that's your TV aerial. This is your bed area and obviously dining area. So if you want to set up this bed area under this seat here, you pull out these slats and that makes up the bed in the middle. And then all you need to do is move the cushions in the middle, and you use the back cushions around the edge to make up your large double bed. Or you can sleep 2 single people as well, depending which way you want to sleep. Under this bench seat here, as you can see, we've got your leisure battery down there. So this is the compartment you could get to externally. But down here we have got your control for the habitation. So this is where all your fuses are in your main breaker. So on the left hand side we've got all your 12 volt fuses. So if one of the appliances goes faulty, this is where you need to come and check. And then on the right hand side, when we are connected to mains hookup for the 240 volt side, so it could be your, as you can see here, it is labelled up, but you've got your sockets and hob boiler, which is on 1. So if the boiler fails, it may trip this one. So this is where you come to when you are plugged in at campsite. Just check here if something trips. But like I say, most of the time it is actually the campsite post that has tripped. And then you've got your solar charger control, which is indicating, obviously, this will light up here when we are unplugged, because currently I'm plugged in, so obviously the mains hookup plugged in overrides the solar because it's more powerful. and you can also select which battery you want to charge from the solar. So currently it's set at vehicle battery, but you can turn that off, or you can select the leisure battery just from the solar. The last thing is in the shower toilet room. So your toilet, if you want to use the toilet, you've got a grey handle here. This grey handle is your blade to open the toilet cassette. So you need to slide this left and right to open the toilet cassette. So open it when using, shut the blade when not using, to save any smells coming back up. Also, if you can't pull out the toilet cassette when you need to empty it, it's because this blade is open. So make sure that this is closed, then you can pull out the cassette. Here we have a control. The blue button is your flush, so which is going to use your fresh water from the freshwater tank to swill the bowl. And then on the left hand side there's an indicator what looks like a toilet cassette. That will actually light up orange/red when the cassette is full and needs emptying. And then obviously we've got your shower cubicle in here, and you have got a drying rack at the top as well, so anything, any wet gear, any wetsuits you can hang in here and dry. It's heated in here as well, which is great. So that is the instructional / overview video complete of the Autotrail Imala 625. If you have any more questions, you can always leave a comment below, or drop us an email, or give us a call.